Chapter 26. Slowly, Shira began to regain consciousness. Her body felt far away, detached from her mind, like something submerged underwater. Cold pressed against her back, a metallic chill of the floor, and the air smelled faintly of rust and oil. She couldn't open her eyes yet, nor make sense of the sounds around her. A dull, rhythmic noise echoed somewhere in the distance, mingling with the frantic thudding of her own heartbeat as it pumped blood through her system like a war drum. She gave up trying to move and instead focused on listening, to the flow of her blood, to the echo of her pulse, to her body struggling to reawaken. Then the pain came. First, a dull ache that swelled into a consuming fire. Her muscles screamed, her bones throbbed, and her skull felt like it might crack open under the pressure. It was the kind of pain that blurred thought and made time meaningless. She tried to open her eyes, only for searing light to stab her brain. With a pained gasp, she shut them again. Her limbs twitched. An instinct, a reflex, but even that minimal effort sent a storm of agony cascading through her. Breathing alone felt like punishment. Then she felt a shift, a presence. Someone was nearby, close to her, watching her. Andrew. His voice broke through the haze, soft and worried. "Are you okay?" The sound pierced her like glass. Whatever they'd done to her had pushed her to the brink. She wanted to scream, to lash out, but her body betrayed her. Frustration twisted into a hot knot of anger. She felt him move. Then his hands cradled her head. "Drink," he said. Something touched her lips. A vessel. She recognized the scent before the taste hit her tongue. Sweet and rich. Blood. Her hands found the cup instinctively and she drank. Heat bloomed behind her ribs, spreading through her limbs like a tide. Her nerves quieted. The edges of her mind began to knit themselves back together. She lay back, breathing more steadily now, letting the blood do its work. Slowly she opened her eyes. She raised a trembling hand to shield them, only to realize the room wasn't bright. It was dim, washed in weak ambient light. Shapes sharpened. Andrew sat beside her, leaning against the wall, staring off into space. His face was pale, eyes distant, his whole posture brittle with exhaustion. Shira pushed herself up inch by inch, pain flaring in her spine. She shifted to the wall beside him. "Where are we?" she rasped. "I have no idea," he replied without turning. His voice was flat, dulled by a weight she recognized all too well. Grief. She looked at her hands. Pale, dry, her veins dark and spidery beneath the skin. But the blood was working. Colour was returning, life trickling back into her limbs. They were in a metal box, cramped, air stale and vibrating slightly beneath them. The space was barely tall enough to sit up in. The constant hum of machinery pulsed around them, like a second heartbeat. Shira scanned the walls, trying to trace the source of the sound. A futile effort. It was everywhere and nowhere. Then memory struck. The silence at the house, the shift in energy, the Asharis. She hadn't stood a chance. There had been too many, quick and relentless. She'd tried to fight but was overpowered in seconds. The last thing she remembered was a blur of motion, the wall smashing into her back, the sting of a needle. They hadn't wanted her dead. They wanted her alive. But why? And why was Andrew here too? She turned her gaze to him again. He hadn't moved. "I suppose you want an explanation," she said. "I thought I did." He finally looked at her, and there was something raw in his eyes. "I waited for you to wake up so I could ask everything, but now?" He looked away. "I just want to get out. I want to find my daughter, and whoever killed Lily." Shira nodded, her voice quiet. "You might not have a choice. The answers you don't want are the only ones that'll help you get those things." Silence stretched again. Shira glanced around the box, heart heavy with guilt. Had she brought this on him? Had Lily's fiancé recognized her? Was that what set this in motion? "How long was I out?" she asked. "I don't know. I was unconscious too." But someone came by a few hours ago, injected you with something, left that. He pointed to the now empty jar. Did he say anything? I pretended to be out cold. You didn't fool him, she murmured. They're good at reading people. She sat in silence, assessing her body. The pain had faded to a dull ache. Her hands looked normal again, no longer pale and dry. The blood had done its work, reviving her tissues and dulling the fire in her nerves. They'd given her blood, enough to bring her back from the edge. Not a mercy, but a strategy. Still, it had worked. Her body was healing, and her mind was clearing. It was time to find a way out, wherever here was. The hum faded, then silence. Shara stiffened. Movement, presence, dozens of them. A new sound, a low rumble, heavier and mechanical. A truck, she said. What? Andrew looked up. We're in a truck. They're moving us. But where? After what felt like an eternity, the vehicle jerked to a stop. Doors opened, footsteps followed, and mutter voices. Then, a metallic groan. One wall of the box cracked open. Dim twilight spilled in. 3 silhouettes stood there. 2 held weapons. The one in the middle grinned. Her breath caught. You, she spat. What's wrong, dear? The man said. No greeting for friends. Rage surged through her. Without thinking, she launched forward, ready to tear that smile from his face. Her body betrayed her. She was still weak. He moved like a serpent, catching her mid-motion and slamming her to the floor. Still got spirit, Craven said, leaning close. Even half dead, you're a handful. Where does all that power come from, cutie? Shara twisted, preparing to rise, and froze. The guns weren't pointed at her. They were aimed at Andrew. Her fury iced over. Done already, Craven teased. That was quick. Why? She growled. His smile flickered briefly, then returned. Because the council's a lie, he said. They act like they care about balance, about peace. But they only want power. And you think this is justice? I think this is survival, Craven snapped. I look out for myself. Don't pretend you're any different. You've always played your own game. I don't betray the people I protect. Craven's grin vanished, his lips tightening as if Shara's words had struck deeper than he expected. His jaw twitched ever so slightly, a rare break in his carefully constructed arrogance. You're not protecting anyone, he said, his voice laced with quiet venom. You're not on anyone's side, not really. One of the guards shifted. Craven nodded. Let's go. Someone wants to see you. Don't try anything. You won't be the one who pays. His gaze slid to Andrew. Shira's jaw clenched. She said nothing and followed. Outside, the light was blinding. A burning red-gold twilight bathed the dunes. The sand beneath her boots was warm, soft, shifting. The air smelled dry, scorched, unfamiliar. Then, Egypt, she murmured. Andrew's voice sounded behind her. What the hell? The wonders of global transport, Craven said cheerfully. I think I'll take one of these pyramids when we win. Shara didn't answer. She watched the sun stretch its last rays across the desert. Then she turned and followed the group toward a tent pitched not far from the truck. A few locals loitered nearby, disinterested. 3 camels chewed lazily beside them. Nobody seemed to care who they were. Inside, the tent was sparse. Craven marched to the center where a stone pedestal jutted from the ground like an afterthought. He brushed sand away and pressed something beneath the surface. A heavy click echoed. The sand at the pedestal's base began to shift and sink, revealing a hatch. Where does it go? Shara asked, eyes narrowing. There's only one way to find out, Craven said. He turned to the guards. You two stay here. But, one started. Shara looked them over. One blonde, massive and boyish, the other dark and scarred. Both stared at her like she was prey, but neither looked entirely at ease. Craven stood out, sleek, arrogant, hair tied in a neat tail like a vanity trophy. Every inch of him screamed old-school ambition. But these two? They looked like weapons. not thinkers. "Stay," Craven repeated, tone sharper. The guards exchanged a glance, resigned, not convinced. Shira saw it. Craven wasn't in charge. Someone else was. And she intended to meet them.